Capricorn, welcome to your astrology forecast for the month of October. So before I jump into the energy of the month, this is going to be most applicable for your rising sign, which is the sign that rules your first house or your ascendant. This is how other people perceive you, especially when they first meet you. It's still applicable for your sun sign, which is how you express yourself, and then your moon sign, which is how you process everything internally through that emotional lens. And so really understanding all three and how kind of they all play together, because they always do, it's going to give you that picture on how the month is going to play out. Jumping into the energy of the month, right away on October 2nd at 2:49 in the afternoon Eastern Time, we have a solar eclipse. So this is the annual solar eclipse. It's in the sign of Libra. So it's a new moon in the sign of Libra. And Libra is a very balanced energy. And so what this means is you're feeling very balanced, you're expressing yourself in a very balanced way. And in fact, during this new moon, you have the sun and moon in the sign of Libra conjunct Mercury, also in the sign of Libra. So this would be conversations that are very grounded, very even, very practical in that manner. And it could be also the way that you're processing everything. It's just really through that kind of level mindset, that level lens here. And for you, all of this is in your 10th house of career and public reputation. So this is a really positive one. We are closing out of the Aries Libra eclipse season. So for you, that's been impacting your house of home. It's been impacting your house of career and public reputation. And so we're moving into the Pisces Virgo. We actually got a glimpse of that back in September when we had that full moon in the sign of Pisces. It was a partial lunar eclipse, but it was still kind of our first glimpse of this. And so in 2025 is when we do the full shift over to that Pisces Virgo. The only aspect that's a little bit challenging during this eclipse is the sun and moon will square Mars in the sign of Cancer. And so feeling very balanced, having very balanced conversations, the way that you're expressing yourself in your career, it's going to create some sort of challenge to any kind of action that you want to take in your relationship. That 7th house energy, that Cancer energy, this would be your marriage partner if you're married, it's your significant other. So if you're living with somebody, like that long-term relationship, that's really what it embodies. And so if you're looking to maybe take some sort of action in that respect, this is where it's a little bit challenging. If you are trying to take some sort of action related to contracts, like negotiating something here, contracts and negotiations also fall within that 7th house, and with that connection to career, now just doesn't seem the right time to take some sort of action. It's more of, let's kind of keep things balanced for the moment. There's going to be other opportunities throughout the month to take some sort of action here. And then on the 8th, we have Venus trine Mars. And I love to see any kind of interaction between Venus and Mars. This one here happens to form a grand trine. And so that is going to happen on the 8th at 6:21 in the morning Eastern Time. And so what this means is you have Venus in Scorpio, you have Mars in Cancer, and you have both Saturn and Neptune in the sign of Pisces, all really talking to each other. It's truly a triangle, easy flow of energy. The conversations here between the planets, it's just, there's nothing you're going to have to do to make this happen. This is just organically going to happen. And the way this impacts you is we have Venus in Scorpio in your 11th house. This is your friends, the community around you. And so Venus likes to bring things together. It's the ruler of both Taurus and Libra, so it's a very balanced, harmonious type of energy. It rules relationships. And so you can kind of see in your 11th house with your friends, it would rule those, it's in that house kind of aligning those relationships, creating a lot of balance, focused here on what you value. With the Scorpio energy, it's a very deep, intense connections. So you're the type of person that when you enter into some sort of friendship, you do so with the intent of really getting to know the other person. You're not so much on the acquaintance front. I've actually never known a Capricorn rising that way. The Capricorn risings that I've always met, myself included, we always tend to have a smaller group of friends because the friends that we do have, we really cherish and value. And that's that Scorpio energy. It's a very loyal type of energy. And so this is about the connections that you make, you're loyal to them until you have a reason not to be. This is a really strong kind of connection that you have with those people. And this Venus in Scorpio will trine Mars in the sign of Cancer. And so the action that you want to take in your significant relationship here, now you can see easy blend of energy. So there's something really positive about the way that they're talking to each other. Venus in Scorpio will also trine both Saturn and Neptune in the sign of Pisces. And so again, when you think about this, it's a very easy flowing energy. Saturn and Neptune, they're both retrograde, and then they're in your house of communication and really processing information, but more communication than anything else. And so you've been doing a lot of inner work on yourself, on the way that you present yourself to other people, the way that you understand other people. It's going to completely align with these deep connections that you have with your friends, also with any kind of action that you want to take in your significant relationship here. And so you can kind of see where communication with the two kind of main types of relationships in your life, really positive there. And of course, Mars is going to do the same thing. I mean, again, they're all talking to each other. Any kind of interaction with whatever you're doing with your significant other helps you with your communication style, vice versa, all of it. The only one where it's a little bit, I would say a little bit more difficult, is Venus and Scorpio will be opposite Uranus retrograde in the sign of Taurus. And so this is an 11th house energy, so your friends, versus a 5th house energy. So if you have kids, hobbies, passions, things like that, anything you do outside of work that's really meant for your own personal pleasure, it's the house of fun. And so Venus and Scorpio, there's a loyalty and these deep connections that you have with your friends, your group of friends. It's going to be opposite to any kind of changes that are happening with children, with your hobbies, passion projects. So it is that opposition type of energy, but you can certainly work with the energy. And I'm going to make one more comment about this Pisces energy in your 3rd house. So the work that you're doing on your communication style here, it is about you setting some sort of goals and having some sort of dreams in a way that you want to be perceived, in a way that you want to actually communicate with other people and understand what it is they're trying to say as well. So just kind of wanted to highlight that there. And the reason that I'm seeing this opposition could just be that maybe you're so focused on connecting with friends, having those types of conversations, and even maybe your significant other, that the focus really is on other things and not that house of fun, maybe not children at the moment or not those passion projects. And then we have Jupiter station retrograde in the sign of Gemini. So that happens on the 9th at 3:04 in the morning Eastern time. And so when this happens here, first, Jupiter is the most benefic planet. So it's all about growth and abundance and going after exactly what you want here. It's the Wheel of Fortune card in tarot. So it's always kind of that one that everybody wants to get because it's like, oh, progress, movement forward, lots of optimism, hope connected to it. And so Jupiter, when it's direct, all of that abundance kind of is happening around you. It's to you, but not directly to you in a way that affects you internally. It's more of creating abundance outside of your physical person. But now that it's stationing retrograde, it's now about on the inside of you. And so this Jupiter retrograde in Gemini is in your 6th house of daily routines. And so think of daily routines as just those things that you do on a regular basis. This could be like your normal work schedule. If you work out, your workout schedule, kind of the things that you do regularly. And what you're doing now is really trying to get clear on what you need to do to grow or maybe make more time for something in your daily life. Is there something here that you really enjoy doing that you want to do more of? Things like that. When Jupiter stations retrograde, it will trine the sun in Libra, so it's easily going to flow with whatever's happening in your work environment that is very balanced, the way that you're expressing yourself and you're coming across in a very balanced way with that sun in Libra. And Jupiter retrograde in Gemini will also trine Mercury in Libra. So even the conversations that you're having with other people at work, it's not just about the way you're expressing yourself. The content of the conversations is also going to be very balanced. And that is actually going to help you figure out what you need to do and grow in your daily routines. And then we have Jupiter in Gemini, sextile Chiron retrograde in Aries. So Chiron retrograde in Aries, this is a wound that's come to the surface. It is sitting in your 4th house. So this is the house of home. So this could be something like an ancestral wound, maybe something connected to, I don't want to say childhood because that's really the 5th house energy, but this could be something that it's kind of passed down from generation to generation, or something that maybe you were born into this life with already. So something along those lines. This is a wound that has been coming to the surface. This inner reflection on what you need to do in order to grow and really do something different in your daily life, it's going to create some sort of opportunity for you to work on that wound, heal that wound. We do have Jupiter in Gemini, square Saturn retrograde in Pisces. And so that kind of inner reflection, inner growth that you're going after in your daily life, it's going to create some sort of obstacle or challenge to the work that you're doing, the way that you want to communicate with other people. So think again, what are your communication goals? What work have you been doing in order to express yourself in a way that you intend to express, and the way that maybe you understand what other people are trying to communicate to you. It is going to create some sort of obstacles or challenges there. You can work with the energy, you just have to put the effort into it. And then we have Jupiter retrograde in Gemini opposite the moon in Sagittarius. And so this inner growth that you have going after the daily life that you want, growth and expansion in that area of your life, it's going to be opposite the moon in Sagittarius, which is in your 12th house. So that's your inner self. So how you feel on the inside versus what you need to do to grow in your kind of daily routine. This could be something that's connected to work, and maybe that goes against other things that you enjoy doing. That would be that moon in Sagittarius. Maybe there's something here where you feel really good when you're able to kind of take that step back, take care of yourself, your own needs, because that is 12th house energy. It's kind of that you away from the public eye. And so there might be something here. And I say that only because of the way Jupiter was talking to the Sun and Mercury in Libra. And then we have Pluto stationed direct in your sign in Capricorn. So that's going to happen on October 11th at 8:32 in the evening Eastern time. And this one here, we've really been watching this all year. So Pluto was in Capricorn, and then it moved into Aquarius, and then it stationed retrograde, which meant it was essentially moving backward. And it's back in Capricorn. And it went back into Capricorn already, and now it's stationing direct. And so next month it'll move into Aquarius, where it's going to be for the next 20 years. And so this is really our last kind of go around with Pluto in the sign of Capricorn. Pluto in Capricorn is in your first house, your physical person. And so these would be changes that are happening to you physically. These are changes that maybe you have set up for yourself, like you've created this structure for yourself, and you were given an opportunity to kind of go back and reevaluate that structure. So when Pluto was retrograde, you did a lot of inner work, figuring out what works, what doesn't work, what do I need to kind of get rid of. If you think about the Jupiter and Gemini in your daily routines, what do you want to grow and expand? What does that mean you have to get rid of? Because there's only so many hours in a day. And so really thinking about it through that lens. When Pluto stations direct, it will conjunct the moon in Aquarius. And so this is going to completely align with however you feel about what you value, maybe your personal finances here, because it is sitting in that second house. And so whatever is transforming within you and outside of you, like to you, it's probably a better way of saying it, it's going to fully align with how you feel about those personal finances. It's also going to easily flow with whatever changes are happening in that fifth house. So as they relate to your passion projects, hobbies, children, if you have them. So whatever's happening, whatever this transformation is that you're going through, it's easily going to flow with whatever changes are happening in that area of your life too. This Pluto in Capricorn will also sextile Neptune retrograde in Pisces. And so this transformation, again, that's happening to you, it's going to create an opportunity for you to really get clear on your communication goals. How do you want to communicate with other people? How do you want to be perceived? How do you want to understand what they're trying to say to you? Kind of really getting clear on that energy. That one you're going to have to take advantage of. It's an opportunity. It's not something that's going to happen organically. And then we have Pluto in Capricorn square Mercury in the sign of Libra. And so what this means is that this transformation, because you're going through a transformation, it's going to create obstacles and challenges to feeling balanced or communicating in a really balanced way in your career. And you can kind of see why, because you're going through something, you're going through some sort of transformation. So it's really hard to stay balanced when you're going through a transformation. This is a theme that we're going to see throughout the month. You're either in this transformation phase and finding it difficult to stay balanced, or you're feeling really balanced and finding it difficult to make any kind of change. Because why would you? You're comfortable, you're balanced. And so that is going to be kind of a theme for the month. And then we have Pluto in Capricorn square Chiron retrograde in Aries. And so that wound, that is maybe an ancestral wound or connected to your home in some sort of way. It's going to create obstacles or challenges here to taking any kind of action to heal that, but it has a lot to do with the fact that you're physically changing in some way. And so it's more about let's focus on the change right now and not worry about literally sewing up this wound later. Pluto in Capricorn is also opposite Mars in the sign of Cancer. And so again, Mars in Cancer is in your 7th house. So your significant other, your marriage partner, if you're married, these changes that are happening to you, it is going to create something here where it's like a push-pull type of energy. Maybe now's not the right time to act. You are going through some sort of transformation, but you can certainly work with the energy if you want to. And then we have Mercury enter the sign of Scorpio. So that's going to happen on the 13th at 3:24 in the afternoon Eastern time. And so Mercury and Scorpio, I personally love this energy. Scorpio is very much into like these deep, intense conversations, very loyal, very passionate, a provocative type of energy here. So whatever conversations you're having with your friends, because it's still in your house of friends, it's going to easily blend with whatever you're doing in your career, however you're expressing yourself in your career, because this Mercury will conjunct the sun in the sign of Libra. So conversations with friends completely blend with how you're communicating at work. Mercury in Scorpio will trine the moon in Aquarius. And so these deep conversations with your friends easily flows with how you feel about what you value, maybe your personal finances here, because that's all second house type of energy. And then we have Mercury in Scorpio trine Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. And so these deep, intense, kind of transformative type of conversations you have with friends, they're easily going to flow with whatever you want to do, whatever you want to grow and expand in your daily life, whatever you're trying to make more room for, it's going to easily flow. Mercury in Scorpio will square Mars in the sign of Cancer. And so this is where your conversations with friends and really focusing here on your friendships, it's going to create some sort of obstacle or challenge to taking action in that relationship. It's not that that relationship's going anywhere, but if you had goals or you had an inkling of doing something here in that relationship, maybe now's not the time, but you could work with the energy if you wanted to. It's a square, so you just have to put the effort in. And then we do have Mercury in Scorpio square Pluto in the sign of Capricorn. And so these deep conversations that you're having with your friends, it's going to create some sort of obstacle or challenge to the changes that are happening to you, because you are going through a transformation here. And then on the 17th at 7:26 in the morning Eastern time, we have the full moon in the sign of Aries. And so this is that 10th house, 4th house energy. So Sun in Libra in your career or public reputation, the moon in Aries, how you feel about your home life, balanced expression at work, kind of how you feel at home. Maybe even a sense of independence, because that's definitely Aries energy. Libra energy is all about the collective, well, it's partnerships. And Aries energy is all about me. So it's kind of like that me versus we. And so during this full moon, we'll have the sun talking to planets, the moon talking to planets, and they don't usually have the same conversation, but there's some friction here. So we'll get into that. We do have the sun in Libra, opposite Chiron, retrograde in Aries, which, not a surprise, it's in Aries. So it's going to be in the opposite sign. So feeling balanced at work and expressing yourself in a really balanced way. It's contrary to healing some sort of wound connected to your home environment, something around maybe an ancestral wound, something like that. And it's a push-pull energy. Again, it's like work-life balance kind of thing, but connected to a wound. Whereas the moon in Aries is going to conjunct Chiron retrograde in Aries, which means how you feel about your home life completely aligns with whatever action that you want to take in order to heal that wound. And then we have the sun in Libra, trine Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. So this kind of balanced expression at work, it's easily going to flow with whatever you're trying to make room for in your daily life. And so it could be that maybe your work is expanding. That could easily be the case. And that would indicate that easy flow of energy. You're trying to make more time for work. You're trying to find that right balance at work and home, all of it within your daily life. We do have the moon in Aries, sextile Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. So how you feel about home is creating an opportunity for more growth and expansion. And so when you think about your home life versus your work life, if you're trying to make more time for work because it is very balanced, it's something you enjoy doing, then you might be okay with doing less at home. And so this is where the opportunity comes into play. And then we have the sun and the moon. They're both going to square Mars in the sign of Cancer. So the way that you're expressing yourself at work, that really balanced expression of who you are, the way that you feel about your home and your home life here, they're both creating obstacles or challenges to taking any kind of action as it relates to your significant relationship here. That kind of marriage partner, if you're married, that, again, long-term partner, whomever that person is, if you have one. And then we have the sun and the moon in Libra, both creating a square to Pluto in Capricorn. So this balanced expression at work, how you feel about your home environment here, they're both creating obstacles or challenges to the transformation that's happening to you right now. And you can kind of see where that energy I was saying earlier comes into play, where you're either feeling balanced and it's difficult to transform, or you're in the middle of transforming and it's difficult to stay balanced. So it's just that kind of energy. It's almost like you just need to deal with one before you can address the other. Then on the 17th, so the same day as the full moon, we actually have Venus enter the sign of Sagittarius. And so Venus, again, rules relationships, very harmonious, very balanced, loves to bring things together. In the sign of Sagittarius, this is an adventurous spirit. This is a lot of optimism and hope connected to it. For you, this is all sitting in your 12th house. So this is a lot of valuing who you are, the progress that you've made in this lifetime, really a lot of self-respect and the self-love is coming through in this 12th house energy. And this is going to trine Mars in Cancer. So this here is easily going to flow with whatever action you want to take in that significant relationship in your marriage, if you're married. And then Venus in Sagittarius will trine Neptune retrograde in Pisces. And so really the love that you have for yourself, it's easily going to flow with your kind of goals as it comes to communication, the way that you're expressing yourself, the way that you want to be perceived by other people, and also the way that you understand exactly what it is that they're trying to communicate, because everyone is different. Venus in Sagittarius will also sextile Pluto in Capricorn. And so this kind of inner self-love that you have, it's going to create some sort of opportunity for you to take some sort of action as it relates to your transformation. So this might give you an opportunity to maybe release more of what's not working for you, because Pluto energy is the death and rebirth planet. And so think of it through that lens. And then we have Venus in Sagittarius opposite Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And so loving yourself, really valuing who you are and where you are in your life journey, because we're all somewhere in our life journey. And so we've all made some sort of progress to get here. It's going to be opposite Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And so loving yourself, valuing yourself, it's going to be opposite to whatever's happening with children, if you have children, or your hobbies, your passion projects, things like that. It's a push-pull kind of energy. You can find that happy medium. This one's more difficult to work with than a square, but it's not impossible. And then we have the sun enter the sign of Scorpio. So that's going to happen on the 22nd at 6:15 in the evening Eastern time. And so when this happens, again, love the Scorpio energy, because it's a very deep, intense, passionate kind of energy. When the sun is in Scorpio, this would be you expressing yourself maybe in a different way, a transformative type of way here. The way you're coming across would have a lot of passion behind it as well, because Scorpio is very passionate. So the sun in Scorpio will trine Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. So it's going to easily flow with whatever you're trying to make more room for in your life here. So these kind of conversations, or the way that you're expressing yourself with your friends, it's creating some sort of, or it's going to easily flow with whatever you want to change in your daily life, whatever you want to grow and expand there. And then we have the sun in Scorpio square Pluto in Capricorn. And so this transformative expression with your friends, it creates some sort of obstacle or challenge to the transformation that's happening to you physically, your physical person, that first house energy. And it feels more like maybe there's other areas of your life you want to touch, like your daily routine. And so maybe you're not so focused on you at the exact moment. And then we have the sun in Scorpio square Mars in Cancer. And so this transformative expression with your friends, it is going to create some obstacles and challenges to taking any kind of action in your significant relationship here. So your marriage partner, if you're married, maybe the person that you live with. And then we do have the sun in Scorpio opposite Chiron retrograde in Aries. And so this just means these transformative conversations, these kind of deep, intense conversations that you're having with your friends here, it's going to be opposite healing that ancestral wound, that wound connected to your home or home life. And then at the end of the month, we actually have Mercury trine Neptune. And so this is going to happen on Halloween at 8:33 p.m. Eastern time. And Mercury in the sign of Scorpio. So again, transformative conversations with your friends. It's easily going to flow with whatever you're trying to communicate, the way that you want to communicate, the way that you want to understand other people. easy blend of energy. We're actually back to that triangle type of energy again, that grand trine. And so we'll have Mercury in Scorpio trine Mars in Cancer. And so any kind of action that you want to take as it relates to your marriage partner, your significant other, this is all going to easily flow with how you're talking to your friends and those kinds of conversations that you're having with your friends. And then we have Mercury in Scorpio sextile Pluto in Capricorn. So these transformative discussions with your friends, it's going to create some sort of opportunity here for transformation for you. So if there's anything else that you want to change about yourself, this is going to give you an opportunity to really go after it, make that change with Pluto still sitting in your first house. Because in a few weeks, literally it's mid-November, this is Halloween. So in mid-November, that's when Pluto moves into Aquarius, and it will never come back to Capricorn in our lifetime. So just kind of keep that in mind. If there's any kind of opportunity, any kind of action that you want to take as it relates to changing something about yourself, now's the time. And we'll have Neptune and Pisces creating the same energy. So the way that you're communicating with other people, the way that you want to communicate with other people, it's also going to create some sort of opportunity here for you to make changes to yourself. Mercury in Scorpio will be opposite that Uranus retrograde in Taurus. So when it comes to children or your passion projects, things like that, it's just going to be opposite any kind of transformative conversations that are happening right now. And so it's really these areas of your life, because they're both about transformation. That Scorpio energy is death and rebirth. And so the conversations that you're having with friends versus maybe children or hobbies, you can kind of see how they're a push-pull, because odds are you're really only doing one at a time. And then we have Neptune retrograde in Pisces, sextile Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And so what's interesting here is the way that you're communicating, the way that you want to communicate with other people and really understand what they're saying as well. It's going to create some sort of opportunity for changes to take place in that house of fun. So children, your hobbies, things like that. This Neptune retrograde in Pisces will also square Jupiter retrograde in the sign of Gemini. And so the way that you're communicating and the way that you want to be communicating with other people, it's going to create some obstacles and challenges here to any kind of growth or expansion in your daily life. It's a square energy. You can definitely work with it. I mean, this still to me is kind of a more positive one because Jupiter's still in the mix. Even though Jupiter's retrograde and it's at its weakest point right now in the zodiac by being in the sign of Gemini, it's opposite its home sign of Sagittarius, or ruling sign, if I'm saying that right. I think you know what I mean. But anyway, it's still positive. This one is easier to work with than others. So Capricorn, this is your reading. I hope it resonates. If it did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.